All right, let's just dive right in, shall we? We're about to take a really close look at something we think we understand completely, and that's time itself. But what if our whole idea of a straight line, past, present, future, what if it's all just a story we've been telling ourselves?
Really let that question sink in for a second. What if that fundamental thing that runs our lives, from our daily schedules to our birthdays, doesn't actually flow forward at all? This isn't just some philosophical game. It's a question that, believe it or not, cutting-edge science and super ancient wisdom are starting to answer in a surprisingly similar way.
And boom, this right here is the main idea for this whole explainer. The ticking clock, the calendar on your phone, they aren't reality. They're just tools. They're a lens that we invented to make sense of our experience. And here's the most important part. If it's just the lens, that means we can choose to look through a different one.
Okay, so first things first, let's start by picking apart the model of time we all live by. Let's call it the clock's great illusion.
This is basically time 101, right? The past is behind us, totally set in stone. The present is this super slippery moment that we're in right now. In the future, well, that's somewhere out there waiting for us. This whole road idea pretty much dictates everything: how we measure progress, how we feel about getting older, even how we define success. But it's just one story.
Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. Where does this story even come from? Turns out, it's not coming from the universe out there. Nope, it's being built moment by moment right inside your own head. You are the architect of time.
So, according to neuroscientist Daniel Siegel, our brains don't just passively hit record on time like a camera, it's actually the opposite. Our brains are more like master film editors. They take all these little bits and pieces of sensory information, these totally disjointed frames of reality, and they splice them together into a smooth, seamless movie that we experience as the flow of time.
So here's basically how it works. Your brain is getting bombarded with sensory fragments. Then it cleverly fills in all the gaps, between your eye blinks, your thoughts, all of it. And from that patchwork, it builds the coherent story you call your day. This seamless flow of time is actually a masterpiece of neural engineering.
And come on, we've all felt this. Think about a near miss in a car, or standing in front of a breathtaking view, or even that perfect first kiss. Time seems to warp, right? It slows way down, it stretches out. That isn't just a trick of the mind. It is proof that time isn't some constant external thing. It's a subjective internal experience, and it's totally tied to how present we are in a moment.
Okay, so if time isn't a straight line, then what is it? And that question leads us to a pretty radical way of looking at reality itself, all built around what you could call time's secret spiral.
This is the idea of fractal time, something author Greg Braden talks a lot about. So forget the road or the river metaphor. Instead, I want you to picture time as a big spiral, kind of like a spring, constantly circling back near where it's been before. This suggests that events, feelings, and lessons in our lives repeat, not as exact copies, but as evolved versions, giving us another shot at them.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract concept. This spiral pattern is literally everywhere in nature. It is the architecture of the cosmos, from these massive spiral galaxies all the way down to the tiny double helix of our own DNA. So why would time be the only thing in the universe that moves in a perfectly straight line?
Okay, and this leads us to the most mind-bending part of fractal time. If the past and future aren't really separate, it means that every single moment contains the echo of all other moments. They're not different places on a timeline, they are all right here, right now, existing together in this huge field of potential.
So, what does this mean for you? It means those patterns you notice in your life, the same challenges that pop up, those familiar feelings, they're not random, they're like harmonic signatures. And when you learn to recognize this spiral, you can consciously choose to align with a different, better outcome that is already out there, just waiting for you.
Now, I know this might all be sounding a little mystical, but what's truly incredible is how this ancient way of thinking is now lining up perfectly with modern physics.
Just look at this. For centuries, you've got mystics from traditions like the Hopi saying everything happens in a sacred now. In Vedantic thought from India, the idea of a sequence of events is part of Maya, or illusion. Okay, now look at the other side. You have the block universe model in physics, which suggests that all moments, past, present, and future, already exist. It's just our awareness that's moving through them. They're saying the exact same thing, just with different words. And if you need any more convincing, well, here it is from Albert Einstein himself. For him, this wasn't some poetic metaphor. This was a conclusion he reached based on his deepest understanding of how reality works. The greatest scientific mind of the 20th century was basically agreeing with the ancient sages. So, the big question is, how do we take this huge reality-bending idea and actually use it in our lives? Well, this brings us to a really practical way of living.
So, the ancient Greeks had two different words for time. There's chronos, which is the one we all know. It's clock time. It's linear. You can measure it, and it runs our schedules. But then there's kairos. This is more like soul time. It's about quality, not quantity. It's spacious. It has nothing to do with the clock. It's all about that perfect, opportune moment, the flash of insight, the right time for action.
See, most of us are obsessed with managing chronos, right? We're always trying to cram more stuff into our day. But real change, real transformation, it doesn't happen on a schedule. It happens in kairos time, when we are so deeply present and aligned that we step right into that opportune moment where everything just clicks.
So how do we do it? You collapse time not by speeding up, but by tuning in. Think about it like an old radio. First, you have to tune your awareness, that's the dial, to the frequency of the reality you want to experience. Second, you have to embody that feeling right now in the present moment. Your body becomes the antenna. And third, you use your focused clarity on what you want as the activation key. You see, you're not chasing after a future, you're tuning into and receiving a reality that already exists.
And that's really what this all comes down to. If the past isn't really behind you and the future isn't way out in front, if every possible version of you in your life already exists right now in this infinite field of possibility, then the only question that really matters is this: who are you choosing to be, with your focus and your energy in this very moment?
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Quantum Manifestation: How to Collapse Time and Shift Timelines. This isn't theory. It's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.